Good morning, everybody. We're back, and we are live. And again, for our very patient and loyal followers of this show, this is two shows that we've been back live, and I think it's going to be a lot more. And Nancy and I are feeling pretty good, and we think we'll be coming in every Saturday. Don't hold me to that, but I think we will. We were talking in the studio before the live switch got thrown, and we're on live radio and YouTube and Facebook and streaming all over the world. But this day is probably one of the most challenging days for car buyers and car leasers and car repairers. I've said that a lot of times before, but it just seems like things are getting more and more challenging for the consumer. And if you're in the financial markets, you know what I'm talking about. The stock market is, I don't know if the proper word is crashed. This is not 1929, but I've been around, and I've been in the stock market to some degree for a lot of years. And this is as bad as I've seen it. It's bad probably isn't the proper word. It's confusion, and there's nothing worse on a market than not knowing. In the stock market, a lack of knowledge is what causes most of the destruction. And when you're buying products, cars, and that's why we're here, Earl Store on Cars. When you're buying or leasing cars, your enemy is lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge goes hand in hand with confusion, and that's where we are now. I'm confused. I hope you're confused. I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you think you're not confused, you're going to be fair game for the car dealers. By the way, the car dealers are confused. The manufacturers are confused. And a week ago, we were all confused anyway, but now with the crash in the market, with these tariffs that surprised everybody, no one had any thought that they would be as high as they are, and nobody in the world thought that the retaliation would be so high. So we've got tariff wars going on, and of course one of the biggest tickets products we buy are cars. So the tariffs on cars are huge. And even worse than huge, they might get bigger. They might go away. They might come down somewhere in the middle. It all depends on what the world does and what the American voter does. We've got a president for another 4 years now, so he's there, and whatever he does is going to influence what you do and what we do on this show. Some of the smartest financial people that I know, and this is, I watch a lot of CNBC. That's a financial network, and they've got a lot of smart guys on there. But in a situation like this, sometimes, counterintuitively, the best thing to do is do nothing. And the smartest people I know, when they were talking about stocks and bonds, they're saying, don't buy any stocks, don't sell any stocks, wait. And when you wait, then things usually calm down. At least you have more knowledge. So I'll start this show out by saying my feeling, and I might change my mind based on the input we get. And the input we get on this show is very unusual. It's very, very well thought out. We have some very intelligent people out there in the audience. And so before I go on any further, let me give you the ways that you can call us. We kind of like to know what to do too. I don't know. As a car dealer for half a century, I don't really know how to advise you right now. My gut says don't do anything. Our number that you can call us on for the next 2 hours, we're on from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're in South Florida. We're on the True Oldies channel, and the number you can reach us on is 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Nancy Stewart, my co-host, she's monitoring her laptop computer now. We have a man in the control room. And so when that call goes through on this phone, 877-960-9960, we get to it ASAP. If Rick Kearney is talking, or I'm talking, or Nancy's talking, we stop talking and we take your call. Really, your calls make the show. This isn't a compliment where we're patting you on the back to make you feel well. If you have listened to the show, you know what I'm talking about. We get information from people that we didn't even know, even with ChatGPT or Google. We got some folks out there that really stay on top of things. So we hope you're listening or watching now, and we hope our gurus out there are commenting, and because we really need some material. Usually we're the word, I mean, cumulatively, the people in this room have been in the car business a long time, and we know a lot about cars. But when you put together the thousands and thousands of folks that listen and watch the show, and you take the people that are very well informed, I think you're a little bit ahead of us in brain power. So please give us a call at 877-960-9960. You will get priority. If you're not a talker and you're a texter, we got a text number, and that's 772-497-6530. That's text number is 772-497-6530. Nancy is waving a couple of papers. She brought today's New York Times and today's Wall Street Journal in as an example of the financial market headlines are, help.
Exactly.
We don't know what to do, and so you're going to be a trendsetter if you communicate with us on the show. We also have a anonymous line, and when we talk about tariffs and we talk about Donald Trump, President Trump, half the nation out there are strong supporters of the Trump administration, and half the nation out there hates the Trump administration. That's kind of like American politics. I mean, we make a big deal out of it this time. And previous elections, if you think back far enough, whether you call it, if you talk about Truman and Dewey, I mean, a lot of people have never heard of Truman and Dewey, but I do. And it's always been that way. It's America. We love our politics, and we hate our politicians, and sometimes we love our politicians. So we'd love to hear your opinion and give some guidance to people out there. Buying a car is the second most, for the average person, second biggest purchase you make to a home, and you need all the information you can get. So help us gather that information. As I say, our anonymousfeedback.com, YOURANONYMOUS, just the way it sounds, youranonymousfeedback.com. You can contact us on that number. And the cool thing about that is we don't know who you are, where you are. A lot of people like the privacy factor. They like to remain anonymous, and you do. You have my word. This is not any kind of a trick. A lot of blue chip companies use this. The company that conceived this whole anonymous feedback is Incognito.com. You can check us out on Incognito. Incognito is spelled with N-E-A-T. N-E-A-T-O, not the way the other Incognito is spelled, but Incognito.com. But you go to youranonymousfeedback.com. We don't know who you are. 877-960-9960. That's our old-fashioned telephone number. And, of course, I gave you our text number. That's 772-497-6530. I'm going to turn the mic over to Nancy Stewart, my co-host. And I haven't forgot Rick Kearney. Rick and I were talking before the show started, and I said, we're going to need your help because I think people are going to not want to buy a car. And if you're not going to buy a car, used or new, you got to take care of the car you got. This guy, Rick Kearney, knows more about repairing or maintaining a car than anybody I know. and that means he's probably better than anybody you know. So you call in at 877-960-9960. You can talk to Rick, or you can go to youtube.com/Earl on Cars. He monitors that channel, by the way, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. Nancy, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. To what Earl said, he mentioned the papers that, if Jonathan can grab this, he mentioned the papers that we went through this morning, and this is just to let you know. I'm watching your screen. This is just to let everyone know, just to confirm what Earl said, and all the information that Earl gave you this morning, phone numbers, ChatGPT, the text number, the toll-free number. We'll repeat that throughout the show. Next, $50 for the first two new lady callers. $50 to the first two new lady callers. And I can't emphasize more right now in light of everything that's going on. No, ladies, what you can afford. Take control. Take control before you walk in and ever see a salesperson. You step into the dealership. The only reason you should is for your car payment, your insurance, your maintenance, gas, registration, a car that fits your budget. Give me a call, 877-960-9960, or you can text us. That text number is real important for the mystery shop where you can vote, and that's 772-497-6530. We're going to get to the mystery shop from Okeechobee, Florida, and that's Gilbert Ford. And we are also going to get to the dog of the week from Big Dog Ranch, and we have Popeye this morning. I'm going to go ahead and limit any other information I want to share with everyone because our lines are lit up, everything. So we are going to go to John in Palm City, who's a regular caller. Good morning, John.
Good morning. Today's New York Times has an insert paid for by BMW announcing the 50th anniversary of BMW. Now, why is that important, too? I was at a special exhibit in Amelia Island, Florida, March the 8th, and they had special exhibits on BMWs, also on Porsches, because Porsche Turbo, that's 50 years older. Now, my point about tariffs is I visited the BMW plant in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Fabulous place. Now, every part, and they make BMWs for all over the world, every part in that plant is bought in from Germany because it's German engineered and German parts except the battery in it. Now, what happens under the new tariff laws now, this is the car that's actually made in the United States, but all the parts are bought in from Europe.
So that I think if the parts are brought in, I believe the tariffs are going to apply because tariffs do apply to the parts. Again, this whole situation is confusing to everybody, and nobody is really sure what's going to happen next week or the week after.
Well, that's why I point something out like that. It's important because the BMW is very powerful. As I say, all the world, they deliver from that plant, BMWs. So, I mean, the way it stands now, it could be wind up closing down because these parts have to come from Europe.
You know, Rick has a comment on that, John. What do you say, Rick?
Yeah, I'm a little confused because Bayerish Motorworks, which is BMW, actually Google says that they're 109 years old as of March 7th.
Well, read today's New York Times insert.
You know, John,
It said 50 years.
John, I did read that, what you just mentioned. That was a really great full-page
Yes.
advertisement for a BMW this morning.
Well, I think the point isn't how long they've been here. The point is that it's a confusing situation. John is saying that you got a plant in America and employing American workers, and you're putting a tariff on these cars because the parts were made in Germany. So again, it's a question: why does this happen? What is the good of this? And there are a lot of other questions that people are having. So, again, I repeat the advice that I'm hearing from the guys that know and the gals that know is don't do anything. I mean, you don't have to go out and buy a car today. Wait a little bit, see what's going to develop. I guarantee you, next week and the week after, there's going to be a lot of changes. I mean, you're talking China, India, Germany, the whole world is up in this, and even Mexico and Canada, which are, they're on the same continent we're on, North America, and we're fighting with them too. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth. But John, that's a really good point you made there. It points to exactly how little thought has been given to what has happened to us on this tariff thing.
Well, just a fast question for Earl. Do you think now Mercedes-Benz and Kia and all of them, if they have these cars in stock now, do you think some of these dealers are already going to take advantage and raise their prices automatically on what they have?
I think you're absolutely right. I think the threat. See, we have a multiple threat now. Now we have a tariff threat and a inconsistent policy threat, taxes, whatever you want to call it. But we also have the car dealers who are going to use this to their best advantage. And if a car is already in stock, are they going to raise the price in spite of the fact that they paid less for it? Rick?
On YouTube channel here, Negan, he's out in Arizona. He says, the games have started. I'm no longer looking at the Ford Raptor R. I'm watching the Explorer ST all-wheel drive. He says, day before the tariffs, it was $2,500 under the MSRP was the price he saw online, apparently. And the very next day that Ford announced the employee pricing, it was $2,500 over MSRP. Yeah, so 5,000 jump in a day or two.
So as I said, we don't just have to fear the tariffs. We have to figure how the dealers are going to use that to their advantage.
Yeah.
And you have to be sure when you go into a car dealership today, if you're looking at a new vehicle, you have to be sure exactly how the tariffs affected that car. Now, the tariffs may be applied to that year, make, and model, but the car came in before the tariff law went into effect. Very complicated, and again, my advice at this stage, unless I get somebody that changes my mind this morning, don't buy a car. You might think I'm lost my mind because I'm a car dealer, but I'm saying right now, I wouldn't buy a new car or lease a new car. If I had to have transportation, I'd buy a used car.
No, that was my question. Thank you.
So, John, that's the best I can advise, and you might find out that you can get a good deal on a car that has a better deal on a car that has a tariff than the cars that don't have a tariff. Supply and demand is the bottom line, but the dealers manipulate your knowledge of what is happening, and to some extent, the manufacturers are manipulating your knowledge. The way I do business in my dealership. Probably a third of the cars that we sell out of my Toyota dealership are what we call dealer traded. I go to another Toyota dealer, because I've got a blue RAV4 hybrid and the customer wants a white. So I take the white from the dealer I call, I give him my blue one. So we trade, we call that dealer trading. And I know the cars that I've got on the ground in my dealership, but I have to do some research to find out where the dealer I did the trade with does. So it's going to confuse a lot of dealers and certainly confuse the buyers. John, thanks very much for the call. It's, as usual, a very informative, interesting call.
Yeah,
Great
thanks,
advice
John.
from Earl. Great advice. When in doubt, do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, John. Our number here is 877-960-9960. Our text number, 772-497-6530. And we all agree that the terrorists have created chaos in the financial market and in the retail, especially the auto industry. So the good news here is that we're all in this together, and all of the knowledge that you have applied, that you have, absorbed from this show, and also, let me point out, you have shared a lot of knowledge with us, and we're happy about that, because guess what? You make the show. So keep all of this in mind, just sharpen your senses, stay alert. And if you do have to go out and purchase a vehicle, I think the used is the way to go. We are going to get to some of these callers, and Carol, please give me a call back. You're a first-time caller. You were on hold for quite some time. Evan is calling us from Coconut Creek. She called last week. Good morning.
Good morning. Are you out there? Is that Ellen?
Evan?
Evan.
Evan.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Nancy, Earl, Rick.
Hi.
I called last week. This is Evan, and my question was lease or buy, and we talked about that. I just wanted to give you guys an update that I went to the dealer I was supposed to go to with my entourage, who are more knowledgeable than me, and we ended up walking out. Mm-hmm. And we went up to Earl Stewart Toyota in North Lake, and I bought a car.
Oh, bless your heart.
No negotiation. The hardest negotiation was the color. And I'm glad I got in before the tariffs. So today I'm going to pick up my car.
Oh, congratulations. Sounds
That's
like
cool. What model did you get?
I got the Toyota, obviously, the Corolla Cross.
Oh,
great car.
Yeah, they're
So
awesome.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, they've really done a lot of improvements. Great car. Evan, I can't thank you enough for calling back and sharing your experience. And go ahead.
Not a problem. I just wanted to thank you guys. I enjoy your show.
Ivan, we appreciate you so much. And, as Earl says, we're not trying to be a commercial here, but we just love the idea that you got a decent deal and that you're happy.
That's
all that matters.
That's the important part of all this. We'll talk to you soon. And
Yes.
I was thinking about you this morning. It must have been about 3:30 a.m. But I got a little insomnia going on. But I'm working on the consumer reports from last week. And as soon as I know something as far as when you'll get your first copy, I'm going to be in touch with you.
Not a problem. But
the check
Thank you
has
so
gone
much.
out. Have a great
You guys
weekend.
have a great weekend.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to. I hope everybody calls back. I see where the calls are dropping, and there's so much we have to get to. So we're you can hear me. I'm just moving quick as I can. We're going to go to Bob in Lake Park. Hi, Bob. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody today?
Fantastic.
Good. I have a product I'd like to recommend.
Okay.
I have a question for Rick. The product is, I used it on my car. I don't have a garage, and the car's been sitting out for 10 years, my Mustang. And there's been some fading on the trim parts, the black trim fades. And I wash and wax my car 4 times a year myself, and I put the Armor All on the trim parts, but it doesn't hold up. It looks good for a couple days and then fades. But I bought this product. It's a Cerakote ceramic trim coat restoration kit, and I put it on there, and I've had it on for about 6 weeks, and it looks fabulous.
Bob, will you spell that for us so the listeners can write that down?
Yes, it's Cerakote.
Uh-huh. Ceraaaoce.
It's Cerakote.
Oh, Cerakote. Okay.
Cerakote.
Cerakote.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
Trim coat. It's a ceramic trim coat restoration kit, and it's wonderful. I mean, I used it even on some of the other trim pieces up by the windshield and on the sides of the windows, and it brought everything back, brought all the color back, and so far it's been holding up pretty good. And the car is outside. I don't have a garage, so it gets the sun. And I think it's, I don't know how long it's going to last, but it seems to be a terrific product. And I just thought I would tell your listeners that, if they're going to keep their car now because everything's going crazy anyway, that they may want to try to use this on there. It'll bring back the luster of the faded parts, especially the black. Anything that's black fades.
Yeah.
Yeah, those black trim pieces, they're plastic. And you don't want to put any sort of a wax on there because car wax gives it you can't get it back off. It's horrible trying to clean it off. Cerakote and Meguiar's, I think it is, has their back to black for those black trim pieces. But Cerakote, I think, has actually got a little better quality rating.
Yeah, I think
from
it has
folks I've talked to.
I think it has better chemically bonding with your with the vehicle's
it's
protective
incredibly
layer.
water repellent.
Yeah.
So when you go to wash your car next time, you're going to see the water just literally fall off of that plastic.
And it bonds with the factory paint.
Well, it's because it's that matte black plastic, like the mud flaps and the other trim pieces like that. A lot of the fender guards are black plastic. Yeah, this stuff is awesome.
$16.88 on Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube. That's what I thought.
Well, thank you very much. That's we love to share that kind of information with our audience, and sounds like a good product.
I do have a question for Rick.
Okay.
I have these one-touch windows on the Mustang, Rick.
Yeah.
And I put a new battery in about 5 months ago, and the driver's side window's been kind of acting funny. And I saw that there's a reset on there to reset the window. And I was going to ask you. Apparently, you put the window down, you hold the switch down for 5 seconds, and then you put the window up and you hold the switch up for 5 seconds, and then apparently it resets the driver's side. It only happens on the driver's side. Driver's side window. It's a common problem with the one touch on the Fords. I don't know if you have it with Toyotas or not. But my question to you is, because I don't have a garage, if I put the window down to do this procedure, what do I do if the window doesn't go back up? Do I have to disconnect the battery and let it sit for a few minutes and then reconnect the negative cable and then retry it?
That might be worth a try with the Ford. I'm not really sure on Fords for their reset. I know with Toyota, you have to do this for each window on the older Toyotas. You actually have to reset each window when you disconnect the battery. The automatic up and down will not function until you go actually to the switch on that particular door. And you have to hold it down until the window goes all the way down. And they say 5 seconds. I like to let it for like 8 or 10 seconds. That way I know it's had its time limit, and then hold it to the up position. And again, hold it once it gets all the way up, wait another 8 to 10 seconds. And that reprograms. What it does is it's telling the computer in that door switch that the window has reached its up position. And the computer's actually looking at how much amperage is being drawn by the motor, because when the motor hits that total all the way up or all the way down, the amperage goes up a little bit, and it will hold that level. So the computer says, oh, okay, that's my full up or full down position, and then it records that. So I would say, give it a try with that. Disconnect the battery for a minute, give it maybe 5-6 minutes, and then reconnect it, and then try that reset. And odds are that'll take care of that problem. For anyone out there that has a moonroof or a sunroof, if it seems to be acting up, the one touch is not operating properly, try that also. Make sure the moonroof is all the way closed, disconnect the battery, wait a minute, reconnect it, then push it to the open position and hold the button. Don't let go. Just push it and hold it all the way. And once it's all the way open, wait about 8-10 seconds, then let off, give it a second, and then push the close button. And once it goes all the way closed, keep holding it for another 8 to 10 seconds. And that normally will reset the computer and everything will work just fine.
Right. They have it in the owner's manual, the reset procedure for the Ford. It only happens basically on the driver's side window for some reason on the Ford. I only have 2 windows with the Mustang, so, but I was just concerned if I put the window down and then I try to put it back up and it won't respond, because I don't have a garage, so I don't want to leave the window down,
Right, yeah. Oh, it's Florida, hey.
Yeah, it's Florida. Yeah.
You don't like the weather, wait a minute, it's going to change.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you for the call.
Okay, well, that's a good tip. I mean, I'm going to work on it probably on Monday, and I just hope everything works out. As far as the market is concerned, I see that Volkswagen is automatically going to put a tariff fee on their cars. There's going to be a Volkswagen, and I think Ferrari and Bentley already said they're raising the price of some of their models 10%. So you're already starting to see some of it.
Yeah.
And
wait and watch. That's our advice. Wait and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think if you have a used car that you want to sell, I think that's going to be worth a lot more money too.
Well, that's a good point.
Yes, indeed, Bob.
The used car price is going to go way up.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. Hope everybody's okay, feeling all right. And I'll listen to I wanted to hear about the Okeechobee.
Yeah, mystery shop.
That could be very interesting, yes.
Very much so.
Okay. Yes. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Bob. Have a great weekend. I mentioned earlier about watch your spending. Well, with all of the knowledge that we all have in this group, the listeners, the team here, we just can't emphasize enough to review the supply chains. Look at where your products are coming from. If they're affected by tariffs, well, consider negotiating with the supplier. Yes, I love negotiating. So you will do that and communicate and transparency. Everything is so vitally important right now if you do have to buy. We're going to go to the road runner who's been holding. Hi, Steve.
Meep.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Not bad.
Okay, I got to go back to Dr. Rick again. Last week we talked about my electronic ignition.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I couldn't find a short at all with it.
Oh, boy.
So while the car was running, I put my palm on the electronic ignition module,
Yep.
and I got a shock.
Yikes.
Replace that box. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now there's an internal issue in that box.
Well, I didn't realize how dangerous working on a car could be.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now you've got there's an internal issue in that buzz box, the electronic ignition module. I'll try to stay away from my mechanic slang there, but yeah, if you felt the zap when you touched it, then yep, there's a problem in that box.
Were you wearing your sneakers, Steve?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You want to wear rubber shoes the way you're grabbing these wires, yeah.
No, it was no wise. I just happened to palm that box and thought maybe it was hot or something. But I ain't worried about a shock because I work for New York City Transit and I already got bit by the third rail in New York.
Oh, Lord, wow.
Oh,
I
my
had a headache. It
Is-
went up my right leg down to my left leg. I had a headache for a half hour.
Is your hair still curly?
No. Well, then again, grass don't grow on a busy street. You know that.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
The guy who with the windows, how come they don't have a thing that would stick out with your power windows where you could put a handle on it for emergencies? With that. See, I hate power windows and power doors. Because in New York, they used to get stuck up in the summertime, and stuck down in the wintertime. So you get out the plastic and the duct tape, and you start covering the windows with that.
Steve, you have Rick rolling on the floor. He's laughing so hard. I think there's tears coming out of his eyes. And you know something? As far as Rick is concerned, you know, if he had the time, he'd be able to share so many stories with you about being a mechanic and getting shocked and all of the ups and downs.
Yeah, but Steve, the young kids nowadays, they don't know how to use that cranky thing on the doors. They don't know that.
Well, they don't make cars with them no more. I don't understand why not. Like, I had a Chevy Blazer with power windows, and the passenger side would never work because it was never used. So I would have to hit the bottom of the right side door to get the motor going, and the window would go up.
You wouldn't believe the number of customers that will pull up in the drive, and they're like, my window won't go up or down, and I walk over, and I push the button to the down position. If it's up, I push the button, hold it, and I give the door a good solid whack with my other hand, and the window starts working. And they look at me like I'm some sort of like I'm this deity, a god.
I feel better now because, with a microwave or toaster, the first thing I do is smash it on the counter.
No, that's called percussive maintenance.
Okay.
Yes.
And also is called, for Rick, a magical mechanic.
The magic touch.
And he has the Midas touch.
Okay.
Okay, Steve.
Love you, Steve.
Thank you. One more?
Sure, why not?
Go ahead. What do you got? What do you want to tell me?
Okay, let's see. When's the last time you did a good old-fashioned burnout in your Roadrunner?
I don't do that no more.
Cop got you?
Okay.
I'm too old to go to jail. I don't want to do that.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you.
I had drum brakes on that car.
Yeah.
You could just show them Rick told you to do it.
Yeah,
What,
little.
the cop, Rick from Earl Stewart's to do a burnout?
Hey,
Well, you got to exercise it sometimes. I mean, you kind of got to give it a chance to shall we say, work out the kinks a little. Make sure she gets up to exercise, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm still working out my kinks in my body.
there
so
you go. That's what I was thinking, Steve.
All
Steve,
right.
it's always a pleasure.
All right, everybody have a good, safe day. Stay
You too,
healthy,
Rick.
stay happy.
Thank
You
very
too,
much.
Steve.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you.
Give us a call again, 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget your anonymous feedback. And we are going to go to Bruce, who has been holding patiently from Palm Beach Gardens. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question. I believe, I think it's Rick. It's a cosmetic problem. I got a 2016 Kia Optima, and I have a crack on top of the dash. What can I do about that?
Unfortunately, if that plastic dash has started to crack, I've tried a lot of different products to try to repair those. And unfortunately, the only real solution is you got to replace that safety pad on the dash. And it's huge expensive, and it's really to live with the crack because it's big money. It's not going to help you in any real manner for the value of the car. Even when you go to trade it in, they're not really going to deduct much off of the value of the car for that little bitty crack, especially on an 8 or 9 year old car.
Bruce, if the car,
I'd ignore it.
Bruce, if the car wasn't older, your car is almost 10 years old, but cracking dashes is fairly common. And Toyota, because I'm a Toyota dealer, had some problems with cracked dashes a few years ago. And I was trying to get Toyota to help my customers correct this with some sort of a warranty or some sort of goodwill discount or some kind of help, because it just wasn't right that you have a 3 or 4 year old car with a big crack or dash. In fact, these dashes were actually melting in the hot Florida sun. The way I got their attention, finally, and I actually single-handedly caused a national recall, I believe, is because I said this is a safety issue. And it came to my attention from some of my customers with a crack and with a melted dash. Picture driving along during the bright day and it's noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That sun will reflect off the dash into your eyes. And I had a customer say that to me one time, and all of a sudden a light bulb went off. And so I told Toyota, I said, you have a safety issue with these cracked dashes. They couldn't really get emotionally involved with a cracked dash, but they could get emotionally involved with a lawyer grabbing that and doing a class action suit against Toyota for a safety problem with their cars that they won't fix. And that was a national recall.
That was actually Channel 12 News, ABC here in South Florida, West Palm. Earl was actually, he really was the guy that pushed this. And when it became an issue here, suddenly nationwide, everybody started screaming because those dashes were melting and turning shiny.
Get a chair up.
Yeah, so it was a real issue. And Earl tries not to pat himself on the back with this, but
well, he's got a
he actually was the guy that did this.
Well, he's got a 2016, so that the car is 9 years old, and I don't think they're going to have too much. You probably didn't buy it new, did you?
No, I didn't. I bought it used.
Yeah, and that's another strike because
Let me ask you this question: is there such a product called a dash cover?
Yes, you can get like they're carpeted or like a felt or velour almost, and it's a simple dash piece. When you put it on, they usually come with these little stickers that are like Velcro.
Okay.
I would actually almost suggest little bitty. Now this sounds weird, I know, but little teeny tiny screws, like maybe a 1/4 inch long, that'll go into the dash. Actually, screw right into that vinyl dash, and will hold it in place a lot better than those Velcro stickers. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Earl just pulled one up on the dash mat like this on Amazon. Is like $30.
Okay, so what you're saying is put small screws through the covering.
Yeah, just little short screws. You can get them Home Depot or even from Amazon, and just that way it's going to actually hold it nice and tight. And I mean, the dash underneath is already cracked anyways, so that way these little screws will go right in to hold it solid. And you can actually get them in a color, just a nice matte black, the screws. So when they go in, they're almost going to be invisible in that dash cover.
Okay, I think that's probably my best way of going.
Well, thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce.
Thank you for answering it.
You're welcome. Give us a call again. Rick, does the repair kits still work? And how effective are they with the fillers that they have?
I tried those things, and it's just you're literally trying to work with like a gooey chemical that you're trying to spread in there with a popsicle stick, and it's such an obvious thing. It shows up so so well. It's so obvious. It looks almost like you put some Elmer's paste in there. And even the ones where you're trying to do a color match, you'll never get the color right. So a dash matte is actually the best option. It's like a $30 option. Put that on, install it good with some little screws to hold it in place, and it's going to look great. And you're not going to get that shiny sun reflecting in your eyes effect.
Absolutely.
So that's really the best way to go.
And you just heard what Rick said, so you might want to invest in the vinyl dash covers or the dash mats. It's a great investment to protect your vehicle.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't go anywhere. Stay right with us because we've got an exciting show going on right now. We're going to go to Howard in Jupiter. Good morning, Howard. Steve, I'll be right with you.
Good morning.
Good
Hope
morning.
you all. Yes, as far as the dash cover is concerned, I lived in Phoenix for 1 year, and every other car had a dash cover because the humidity. There's no humidity there, and then the dashes were cracking. So the dash cover does the trick, but you got to do it. You can't wait 2-3 years before having a crack. So, by the way, you can buy if you have a Toyota. Earl Stewart sells it. He sells the dash covers, and they're not that expensive. Okay, so here's my question: what is the cruising speed for my Toyota four-cylinder 2017 four-cylinder? In other words, the speed at which I get the best gas mileage. Someone told me it's 45 miles per hour. Another told me it's 65 miles per hour. Do you know anything about that?
That actually is going to become it's more of a personal preference type thing. If you're comfortable, what you're really looking to do is get to a happy median speed where the car feels comfortable, and you want to just kind of feather the gas pedal until the RPMs are at their lowest amount, because that's the lowest engine speed, which means the lowest amount of fuel being used. But some cars, it's going to depend on the car. Each one's a little bit different. Some of them are going to be closer to 65, 70. Some are going to be down around 55 to 60. And it's going to depend on the car.
Okay, I got it. So what about my Camry? Do you have any idea what the four-cylinder 2017? I was figuring 50 miles an hour would be my best speed, that would get the best gas mileage.
Yeah, that actually sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay. That's my only question. And you guys have a good day. You're doing a great job.
Thanks,
Thank you, Howard.
Thanks,
Have
Howard.
a great weekend. We're going to go to Steve in Brooklyn. Good morning, Steve.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Very
Hi,
good.
Steve.
I'm Steve from the 51st State of the Union, Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, we love hearing from you.
Okay, well, I enjoyed the fellow there that was talking about getting shocked because it sounded like he was from New York, definitely.
Exactly. What can we
Okay,
do for you, Steve?
I have an older car. I listen to you. We don't have a show like you in New York. We're now in Florida, and I enjoy it immensely. I have a solution for the lenses in the front of your lights. I mean, they turn that beigey color, and you can't see it over time.
Yeah. Yep.
I've tried many things. I've used stuff over the counter. One person says use your lemon and sugar or whatever it is, and scrub it comes up. I found a solution that I'm going to share with you, and you got to try it.
Hey, Steve, we're having a little bit of a problem hearing you.
Okay, do you hear me now?
That's perfect.
Okay, so now what I've used, I saw this guy on Instagram. He took mosquito repellent spray. He sprayed the lenses, left them on for about a minute or two. I wiped them off, and all the brown, everything came off. It's been like that for 3 weeks, and it's clear. All he did was spray insect. He used insect or mosquito repellent.
Mosquito repellent.
Mosquito repellent. Spray the lenses. Let it stay on there for about a minute or so, and wipe it off. And you see, you're gonna wipe all that brown, whatever stuff is, and it's been clear now for about 2 weeks. Although they are older, you can still see the lights perfectly.
Plus, you kill a few mosquitoes in the process.
Yeah.
That's right. But it's amazing, and I just thought I would share it with you guys.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
As a matter of fact, I went to Jiffy Lube to get an oil change the other day, and I told the mechanic that, and he said he's definitely gonna be trying it on his cars.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
That's a new one on me.
Well, that's
Fantastic.
the reason we encourage callers. We learn something from our callers every week. And who would have thought mosquito repellent on your
Yeah, and
headlamp?
you know, this reminds me of when you went hunting and how you used to use this Avon product, New Skin, for
Skin so soft.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Rick knows all about it.
I was a Boy Scout and I used it for many years for
Did you?
mosquito repellent.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Great stuff.
What happens
Well,
when?
if any of your callers do try it, please let them call back and let me know because I listen every week. if
Oh,
it
great.
works. But,
Thanks, Dave.
but it does work.
Now, I will throw in my own personal thing here about, oh man, it must be almost 5 years, 4.5, 5 years now. I did the professional refinish polishing on the headlights on my own pickup. And then on one side, I put a 3M clear plastic, the vinyl wrap, like you would get your car wrapped in different colors. I put on the clear plastic from 3M and just a simple square of it, nothing real fancy, but just that one headlight is still, to this day, years later, so much clearer and brighter than the other side. So yeah, folks, if your headlights have gotten that cloudy effect to them, go somewhere, have them do a professional refinish, polish the headlights to make them nice and clear again, but then ask them, you want to go somewhere where they do car wraps and just put a clear cover of that plastic wrap on the headlight itself, just on the headlight. It should cost you no more than $100 to do both sides. And trust me, you'll thank me in the long run. If you're someone like me that keeps a car for a long time, that will keep your headlights really clear and good for many years.
Well, the mosquito repellent is a lot cheaper than $100, and I guarantee you, the only question, it's been 3 weeks now, and it's still clean. I'm expecting it to last a little bit longer.
Nice.
Wow, great news. Thanks for sharing that with us, Steve.
You got it. Have a good day.
You too. Have a great weekend. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on Earl on Cars. A lot of information from our callers. And as I always say, they make the show. 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. And, these tariffs have created a lot of, turmoil. That's the only word I could come up with. And things can shift quickly with the elections and the global events. And, we don't have time to go into everything here, but stay on your toes. Knowledge is powerful, and we'll get through this. We are going to break away from the phone line and go to Rick.
Well, let me say something before we go to Rick. It's been a lot of bad news we've had, and warning people and saying do nothing and don't buy this, don't buy that. There is one bright side to this whole tariff mess, and that's if you're leasing a car now, you're going to find that your residual option to purchase when you lease your car, all lease contracts for automobiles give the person that leases the car, that's you, the option to buy the car at a fixed price, and that's called the purchase option price. And the dealer can't add anything to it. That they do it, but they're not supposed to. So number one, if you have a purchase option, remember that is the price that you can buy that car for at the end of the lease. 36 months, 48 months, 24, whatever the lease length is. After that lease runs out, you can buy that car for that purchase option price. You have to pay sales tax, and you have to buy a license plate, but there are no other charges the dealer can assess. They will try. It's illegal. It's a violation of the law, but some dealers will try to put junk fees on or dealer installed options or something else that they make up. Now, the reason I think that if you're driving a lease car now, the option might be so good for you is the fact that this whole tariff thing came up after you leased the car. So the tariff impact is going to be to raise the cost of new cars, certainly, but when it raises the cost of new cars, it also raises the cost of used cars. Your option to purchase, let's say you're leasing a Kia, Kia didn't know about the tariff fiasco when they leased the car to you, or the dealer did. And so they put that purchase option price at a lower price. That could be worth a lot of money for you. You could save literally thousands of dollars. So you people leasing cars out there, keep an eye on the used car market and keep an eye on your purchase option price. Rick, your turn.
Well, let's stick with Stu's tradition, and we're going to go right to Anne Marie's text message for his right off the bat here.
Thank you, Anne Marie.
She says, "Good morning. Toyota makes a lot of different vehicles, some of which are not sold in the U.S. I'm on the Reddit channel on Toyota. I'm on there quite a bit, and yeah, there's a lot of models that it seems like I've never even heard of.
Yeah.
So she says, first, are there any models that you wish were sold in America, and why? And what's so special about those models, and what are we missing out on?" Well, I'm going to start right off, and I'm going to say, here in America, we have the Toyota Tacoma pickup, and the equivalent to it out in the rest of the world is known as the Hilux. And the Hilux and the Tacoma are basically they're brothers. They're almost identical. However, in the rest of the world, Mexico, South America, Europe, Asia, the Hilux is available with a 4-cylinder turbo diesel. And that diesel engine on those vehicles is pretty much the lowest mileage I've ever heard of one of those failing is somewhere in a 150 to 200,000 mile range. There are trucks out there, Toyota Hilux diesels, that are in the 1,000,000 mile range. They literally just will not stop going. They just keep on. And these are vehicles that they beat them to death. They run through the jungles, the deserts, everywhere else. And for some reason, Toyota has not really pushed to try to get a diesel engine back in the U.S. And a lot of it is the emission standards and things like that. And obviously with the new tariffs, I doubt Toyota will even bother trying anymore. They just say, hey, no, we got the Tacomas and the Tundras, and that's good. And I'm a pickup person. But yeah, those little diesels in other countries, they get phenomenal fuel economy.
Yeah, the Hilux,
and they just run forever.
The Hilux is a smaller truck than the Tacoma.
A little bit smaller.
And one of the reasons the question was, are the cars different in Europe and, for that matter, Japan, because the streets are much smaller, generally speaking. Most of the vehicles are smaller. Also, the average European is more conscious of fuel economy and price, and so you'll see a lot of models of Toyota and every other manufacturer that don't even exist over here. But the old Hilux, that was the first truck we got when I started back in business in 1975, and it's much smaller. At that time it was much smaller, and as you say now, it's just a slight bit smaller compared to 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So what else did Anne Marie say?
That was hers. However, we got some interesting notes here on YouTube. JTB Moore ATL says the Toyota Century. Toyota Century, I believe that is similar to like the Avalon or the Camry, probably an Avalon level, and those are being sold in Japan and quite a few other European countries as well. And Mark H says the EPA keeps us from getting lower priced durable vehicles, and his recommendation: disband the California CARB board, which is the CARB is the EPA for California, their emissions systems, and he says they should be disbanded. However, Donovan says, Mark H., the CARB and the EPA rules are very different. CARB would let you get a small vehicle. The EPA footprint rule makes it not profitable for automakers.
Well, there's another factor, again, for Europe and Japan, the rest of the world. We have higher safety standards, our crash standards. So there are probably some cars we'd love to have in America, but they haven't been crash tested. And so they're not allowed to enter the United States.
Right.
Yeah. And guys, I'm going to. Are you finished with that text? I'm going to interrupt everyone, and we're going to go to John, who's calling us from West Palm Beach. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning.
Welcome.
First, thank you. First of all, I want to extend an invite to Anne Marie. If she's in the West Palm Beach area, we can get. I can set up with her with my son a ride in a Hilux.
Cool.
But it's not the diesel. It's the 4-cylinder gas.
Oh, how
And
nice.
and in right-hand drive, and he'll even let her drive it too.
Oh,
Uh,
great. Hear that,
but the
Anne
reason
Marie?
why.
Wait a minute. Why does Anne Marie get the invitation and I don't?
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't get to drive the right-hand drive Hilux? Wow.
We can bring it by. But you guys are under construction. It almost seems like you're downsizing because you're putting in the
body
window
shop.
tint wrap thing. But anyways, we'll bring it by. I'll bring it by. But the reason why I called is okay. So you talked about that diesel motor in that Toyota put out. But Mike, how does that compare? Because I used to read meters for FP&L back in the late 80s. Okay? A lot of us meter readers put lots and lots of miles on the cars because we had to drive, and this is down in the Cutler Ridge, Coral Gables area. We had to drive to, on our routes.
Yep.
We chose the small little Toyota pickups because of that R22 motor, which just seemed to go forever. What's your opinion on the R22 motors?
Toyota has not made the 22R or the 22RE, which was the electronic ignition version that came about in the late 80s, early 90s. They have not made that engine for well over 30 years. And yet there are plenty of those engines still running today.
Oh, yeah.
People used to they would buy an old destroyed Toyota to get a 22R engine and put them in swamp buggies. They put that engine in everything. It was a simple 4-cylinder little engine that produced a reasonable amount of torque and a reasonable amount of horsepower, and it would last nearly forever. And it that was a fantastic engine. And it's still, yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, that's it for me. I stopped by the shop and saw that you guys were. I stopped by to see our used car guy, because we're in the market for a car, and he's helping us out. And and then to meet some of the guys that are doing transforming your window tint area and wrapping area.
Yeah. They're actually working on body shop. It's going to be increasing the size of the body shop.
Yes.
Yeah, wait till you see that, John. So when it's finished, stop by.
We will. I think we'll get a chance to come by because several of those guys are also into right-hand car drives like we are.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways. All right, very good. Have a great week.
Thanks, John. Give us a call again. We are going to stay on the phones. We're going to go to Frank from Jupiter Farms. Morning, Frank.
Well, good morning, Nancy and Earl and the rest of the gang. It's always a pleasure to hear your show on a Saturday morning, especially when it's live.
Thank you so much.
Not to worry. I sent something via your, what do you call that? The 772 number. I get this letter in the mail yesterday with a new, what did we buy? Lexus 2025, saying you got to respond to this notice. I believe it's where they're trying to vehicle service division. I believe it's one of these scams where they want you to buy extra warranty coverage. If you notice it, I send it there. But I have a feeling since it's our first Lexus, I don't want to mess up.
Mm-hmm. I just pulled up the picture right now. Let Let me go ahead and read this thing real quick. It says, response to this notice requested to Frank in Jupiter on your 2025 Lexus. And it says, attention, Frank, our records indicate that you have not contacted us to have your vehicle service contract activated. We are informing you that if your factory warranty has expired on a 2025 Lexus, yeah, okay, you will be responsible for paying any repairs. However, if expired, you can still activate a service contract on your vehicle before it's too late. Please call blah 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 today. And it's got a summary of terms, and it says approved and various dates on a little chart here, and it says to be determined. Oh, boy, yeah, that's...
Yeah, across the board.
Oh,
It's,
my gosh.
TBD.
Hey, Frank, do you have a fireplace at your house? This would be perfect for, fold it up real tight little thing and use it as tinder for the fireplace. That's about all
There
it's
you
worth.
go.
As soon as you said the fireplace, I thought of Kinder right away.
There you go, buddy. There you go.
The sad part about this, Nancy and I get the mailers too, and they shotgun these mailers out, and they are very deceptive. They're dishonest. They get away with it. I guess the government's got too many other things on their mind to protect consumers from. But it's a numbers game, and these mailers can come from Nigeria, from Brooklyn, from Alaska. I mean, anybody that's got a PC and a smartphone can generate these letters that go out. So supposing you send 1 million letters out, and you only get 2% return or a 1% return, and you steal $500 or $1,000 from the ones that you get. It's a money-making thing, and we tend to laugh at these letters and throw them away. And the listeners to this show are too smart to fall for it, and maybe your friends are, and maybe a lot of people are. But if you watch the news, they usually have somebody that wasn't smart enough, and they make a big deal out of it. So unfortunately, we're preaching to the choir on this show. But the reason we like to do this is hopefully word will seep out to the victims, these people that are really, truly stolen from.
And just as a kind of a PSA to everybody listening, one of the things my wife and I get are these text messages that says, and they come from a random phone number, and it says something along the lines of, you still owe a toll for having driven on the turnpike, whatever. And it puts it in very generic terms. A toll is owed from a road you drove on. And they make it sound so official. Most of us obviously realize it's a bunch of BS. It's bunko. It's garbage. And we simply delete it. However, some people out there might actually think, oh, it's real. And they might respond. Folks, if you get a text message or even a phone call and it's a computer voice and it says you owe a toll, delete it. Just hang up, delete it, get rid of it. It's not true.
And Rick, I can't say enough of what you just said. All you have to do is watch the news, and you can see how many people have been taken advantage of by what Rick was just talking about. And I don't even have time to go into all of the texts that I receive on warranties, and I need to get into it's ridiculous.
And these scammers, especially on that toll thing, it costs them nothing to send that out. They have a computer that will pick 1 million phone numbers, and they'll send out 1 million text messages, and it doesn't cost them anything to do it. And if they get one person to respond, the moment they get that credit card number, the next thing, they're hitting a couple $1,000, and you lose.
You're at the
Folks,
point of no return. And
you got to be careful.
My heart breaks for the people that have been interviewed on the news that have been taken advantage of in so many different ways. And I can't emphasize, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Well, real quick, traffic report. My wife helps out at her daughter-in-law's store called the Terramart store on US 1 in Juno Beach, US 1 down in Ross.
Yep.
Her drive to work this morning around 8:30 from 95 down Donna Ross to the US 1 was no cars. There was hundreds of police.
Oh, they were
helicopters.
everywhere.
Yeah, so her drive-in was the easiest drive ever, but the poor suckers that were going north or south on military or anywhere else were all blocked off for Trump this morning. So she thought it was pretty neat. Yeah, it was interesting with what goes on. And one last thing. In the old days when I worked for American Airlines and we flew into Puerto Plata, coming back from the hotel in the morning through the sugarcane fields, you would see the Toyota pickup trucks down there with literally, and I'm not exaggerating, dozens of workers riding in the back. All standing.
Yeah.
But those trucks just keep going and going. And the R22 engine, as you said, it was just like this was back in the 80s, of course. I haven't seen all this, but it's truly an amazing product you all make. So,
Thank you.
The stories I could tell of things that it just, I won't even get started. We'd be here for till tomorrow morning. Thank you much for calling.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Take care, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. We are going to go to Paul. Paul is calling us from Palm Beach. Good morning, Paul. Thank you for holding.
Hi. Great show, guys. I have a two-part question. After purchasing a new vehicle, when is the best time, if you continue purchasing and not leasing, when is the best time to turn it in for another new vehicle? And does the warranty influence that decision?
Well, it depends. It depends on the car, and it depends really on the individual. A lot of people enjoy driving an older car. They take good care of it. They do their research and buy a good car, and that helps immensely if you get one that was highly recommended, say by Consumer Reports, and then you follow all the factory recommended maintenance. Today's cars are so good, the quality is so high, that you could buy a car today, you could probably drive that car for at least 500,000 miles. If it was a quality car like a Honda or a Hyundai or a Toyota, a really good quality car, and you had all the factory recommended maintenance done, you could the car will last almost as long as you will. So it's a choice. A lot of people that buy new cars, they want to see the new styling, they want to see the new bells and whistles. They're going to have the updates now are we're talking autonomous and we're talking electric vehicles. So a lot of people say, I'm going to trade in because I want an electric vehicle or I want a hybrid. I don't have one. But if you just want transportation and you buy a quality car, you can probably drive it just about as long as you live.
Okay, well, then that spawns another question. If you want a new car, what would that timeline be?
If you want a new car, I would say you would drive it up to the end of the warranty, and that way you're absolutely assured of not having a repair. You got a quality car anyway, and you wait for that styling change that you want a new car. I mean, if you're going to get a new car, you probably want something better and different than the old car. So yeah, and that's the reason most people buy new cars anyway. If you want to be absolutely frugal and smart, buy a used car. New cars really don't make a lot of sense. If you can buy a high quality, low mileage, certified, still under factory warranty used car, it's a better buy than a new car.
Yeah. One thought right now is, with the way things are right now with the tariffs and all that craziness, I'd be very, very careful about buying a new car in the next year. However, like Earl says, a good used car that's 2 or 3 years old, unfortunately, the used car market right now, the prices are going to, like new cars, they're going to go up. This whole thing it's going to be supply and demand. But the right used car can be a lot better than a new car, with one simple caution: always have it checked out thoroughly by a mechanic that you choose, someone you trust, It doesn't matter if you're going to go over to the Jaguar store over on Okeechobee Military or Okeechobee US 1 right now. Have a mechanic that you trust inspect that car and make sure it's right, because you're going to be a lot better off that way.
Okay, Paul.
Sounds good. Now, may I plug your dealership?
Sure.
Certainly.
I'm 78 years old. I've purchased and leased many cars over my lifetime. The only pleasurable experience I had was at your dealership. And can I mention the salesperson's first name?
Oh,
Please.
certainly.
Patricia.
Oh, she is fabulous.
Okay, now I'm going to go a little further. That's Patricia Oliphant.
There you go.
She's been with our dealership quite a few years.
Yes.
And she's an awesome. That lady is something sweet. She is really awesome.
Okay, guys. I'm sure there are other people that want to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul. Have a great weekend. Give us a call again.
Same to you.
Just a mention on existing leases. For individuals with current leases, the residual value is predetermined and remains unaffected by new tariffs. So there's some good news, but knowledge is power. You know, tread on this, all of it. Leasing, used, new, anything and everything. Be very, very careful out there. I can't say it enough. Knowledge is power. And also, I just want to reiterate from last week's show, according to the Gallup poll, I'll tell you what, the mechanics, the consumer is finding more and more confidence in going to their mechanic and going by word of mouth for the mechanic. And Rick can attest to this. Everybody is looking for a great mechanic, honest and transparent. So we're running a little tight on time. Earl, do you want to go over the anonymous feedback that you could possibly have on your
think Rick's got
phone?
them.
We got those. Let me just pull that up real quick.
And Stu, by the way, thank you for the the information that you text to us this morning.
I'm going to actually put two of these together real quick because they're kind
Okay.
of similar. The first one is, Earl, you often talk about the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, which is continuous improvement, always improving, being part of their culture. Being a Toyota dealer, you have said that's why Toyota and Lexus, and of course Honda right up there, are of the highest quality. Mitsubishi is a Japanese company, and their cars have terrible reviews. Why doesn't Mitsubishi employ this cultural concept with regard to their vehicles? And the other one here that might be the same person, he says, Mitsubishi has made so many poor decisions. They should have copied Mazda and kept their partnerships with the big three like they used to do with Plymouth and Dodge years ago.
Yeah, being Japanese doesn't ensure your success. And the Japanese, by far and large, are doing a great job in the world economy. So with automobiles and everything else, I think one of Toyota's strong suits has been the fact that they're literally a family company. I mean, it's unusual, almost unheard of, to see a company the size of Toyota that is actually a family. The top guy in Toyota, for as long as I've been a dealer, has always been a family member, and so there are other people on the board of directors. They have had other involved in their company, but there's always, and by the way, when you say Toyota, it's Toyoda. D is a dog. Toyota is the name. So Dr. Toyota, he had a PhD, and he back in the day he made weaving machines. And he had a weaving machine company, and I guess he woke up one morning and says, I think I'll build a car. So he built a Toyota, and the rest is history. That was 150 years ago, I guess. I'm not sure how many years. So when cars become public corporations, and Toyota is a public corporation, but when you don't have the family involvement, it tends to be a company that operates on a 30-day cycle. And the president of General Motors, the president of Chrysler, the president of any American company, he keeps his job, and his bonus and his success is financial. And it's on a 30-day cycle. With Toyota, the success is on a 50-year cycle, because the grandson of Dr. Toyota is running Toyota today. And 100 years ago, when Dr. Toyota would make a decision for expansion or pricing or models, he was thinking is, what is my company going to look like when my grandson is running the company? And so that goes all back to Kaizen, continuous improvement, and it's not all about the mighty dollar, or in the Japan's case, the mighty yen. And they short-term profit is not important to them. It's long-term success.
Hey, a quick note here on the text messages. Came in kind of anonymous, but he says, this afternoon on your local public television station, which is probably PBS, and the new direct transmission from Toyota Gazoo Racing, which is GR, the division, along with improvements for 2025.
Cool.
That's something I'm going to have to look into.
Yeah, thanks very much.
That's some great information. It's the technology on cars has been getting so fast. It's changing so quickly. It's really tough on mechanics. I know Earl as being a dealer and the salesman that he is, he's got to try to keep up, and all his sales staff has to keep up on all these new developments. But as a technician, mechanics, wow, we're almost overwhelmed with all these new changes coming in so fast, and having to learn how they work and how to repair them.
Can't imagine.
So, folks, if your car has an issue, you got a problem or something, and you go to the mechanic, give them a little grain of salt. Take it a little gentle with them, because some of these guys are staying up late at night, reading and learning and trying to figure out all these new systems. I know myself, I spend hours every week, hundreds of hours it seems like, trying to keep up with this technology, because it's incredible.
I'll mention something that some of you will listen to and take my advice. A lot of you won't. And I know I'm being redundant, and I'm talking about this all the time, and that's artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. A lot of people say, "What the hell is ChatGPT?" Well, it's kind of like Google on steroids. It employs the technology and the science of artificial intelligence, which you don't have to understand. Just appreciate the fact that it is moving at warp speed. And Nancy and I, it's almost taken over our lives. And I know that sounds like a crazy comment, but it's
in
not
a good way.
It's not really much of an exaggeration. As some of you know, I've had some medical issues. Nancy has had some medical issues. But in addition to things like that, we buy stuff like anybody else. And a typical conversation in our home is Nancy will say, I need something to do this, and I will say, check with ChatGPT. And we have to remind each other that why are we having a conversation between us about what we should do, where we should go, what we should buy, or what we should think, when there's somebody out there. It sounds crazy. I just personalized them. Somebody, it's ChatGPT. And you go to ChatGPT, he or she can talk to you. If you want to be talked to as a female, it'll be a woman's voice. If you want a happy ChatGPT, it'll be happy. If you want a sincere, less high key, you'll do that. But it is incredible. Try asking something that you think is just beyond anybody's knowledge, and you'll find. And we cheat on the show, by the way. We used to cheat with Google. Now we cheat.
Now with ChatGPT.
When yeah, well, Rick's laughing because when he gives, he knows when he answers a question of a caller on the show, he looks over at me and I've got my ChatGPT thing going on. He says, "Boy, I hope I got that right because Earl's going to correct me." So it isn't a matter of correcting. It's just there's a tool. If you don't do anything else between this week and next week, sign up for ChatGPT and just ask that AI creature anything you want.
Anything.
And you will love it.
Yeah. It was only the other morning whenever Earl sat and said, "Nancy, I'm really hungry." I said, "Really?" I said, "What did ChatGPT tell you to do?"
Yeah.
Okay. A little lighthearted here. We're going to go to Big Dog Ranch. You know that we have a Dog of the Week, and Big Dog Ranch, takes care of that via a text message and a little video. But let me tell you a little bit about, if you don't know by now, Big Dog Ranch Rescue. You can go to www.bdrr.org, and there is so much information there on dogs to be fostered, adopted, a lot of information. Also, you can fill out an application to adopt a dog ahead of time because they do an extensive background check. So you want to do that. And also, I want to remind everyone of Earl's book. And it's just been an amazing ride with Big Dog Ranch. And Earl's book is 1995, and that's Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. The reason I mention it, all proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch, and it couldn't go to a better place. Big Dog Ranch, they take care of so many different dogs out there, and they provide vaccines, and the list is endless. So go to bigdogranch.org and get more information. This morning, we are going to feature Popeye. And Popeye is a mixed breed and a male. He's comes in at about 63 pounds, and he's good on a leash. He doesn't do. I don't think he does well with other dogs, and he has a lot of energy. And let's take a look at the video.
I work at Big Dog Ranch. This is Popeye. He walks great on a leash. He did lose his left eye, but he's very sweet. He loves pets and attention. He's just a great boy.
He's a cutie pie.
Aww.
Isn't he? Okay, so there you have it. Popeye from Big Dog Ranch. And as I said, you can go to www.bigdogranchrescue.org. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, there are a lot of organizations out there that are helping with the dog problems that we have. With the sad fact behind organizations like this is that they're needed, and the reason they're needed is that too many people will buy a dog and then just change their mind. Drop the dog off by the side of the road, or worse. And a lot of people change their minds or move. They move from a house to an apartment, and if they can't find someone to take care of the dog has no home. Mm-hmm. So, Americans are wonderful people, but we can also do some pretty cruel things from time to time.
Very cruel. In the news, Earl, just last weekend, I brought it to your attention, all those puppies that were dropped off in that field. Heart-wrenching.
Yeah. And the other shelters, and I have nothing bad to say about the other shelters besides Big Dog Ranch, but some of the other shelters, especially the public ones, cannot afford to keep dogs. And of course, you know what happens. They have a limit, and then they euthanize the dog, and that's very sad. I mean, it's just too many people think of their pets and their dogs as part of the family, and you're not going to euthanize your grandmother. We've got thousands and thousands of dogs are euthanized daily, and so Big Dog Ranch Rescue takes those dogs from all over the country and even outside the country, and they give them homes. So it's two things of why I push Big Dog Ranch Rescue to provide the home for a dog, and when you're listening, and the other is to save a dog is about ready to be euthanized, and there are other shelters that do this, but Big Dog Ranch has literally saved thousands and thousands of dogs from being euthanized.
Yeah,
and you got to hand it to Lori Simmons, who is the founder and one of the biggest financial supporters of Big Dog Ranch. She raises literally millions of dollars.
Yeah.
There are several Big Dog Ranches around the country. And if you live in South Florida and you haven't ever been to Big Dog Ranch, visit the home facility, and that's in Loxahatchee. And Loxahatchee is just west in Palm Beach County. And you go out there and spend the day, you will see the finest resort you've ever seen for dogs.
Yeah.
And they have hundreds and hundreds of dogs out there.
I like Puppyland.
Yeah, Puppyland, yeah.
And just in case, folks, if you happen to be someone that has the opportunity, the ability, Big Dog is also looking for folks that can foster dogs, where you bring them to your home, you keep them there just for a while, a couple of months maybe, and that way you have the chance, you can really help out, and you get to have so many different puppies in your home.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have a few people in our neighborhood that are fostering dogs, and you know what the drawback is?
You fall in love with them and you want to keep them all.
That's exactly what happened.
I know it.
Hey, Rick, I think we have a couple minutes to go back to you and share anonymous feedback or YouTube, any text messages, whatever you have.
We will quickly check for any new anonymous feedbacks here.
And while Rick does that, I just want to remind everyone that the text number is 772-497-6530. I mention that because you'll need it to vote on the mystery shop. The mystery shop is from, I think it was Gilbert Ford in Okeechobee, Florida. What do you have for us, Rick?
Well, there was an interesting discussion got started here on the YouTube channel about different car companies that have like a variety of interests. Like Honda makes so many different things: cars, trucks, motorcycles, boat motors, lawnmowers, generators. And Donovan brought up an interesting point here because Kim Appreciates Life, one of our YouTubers here, she says that she was looking at Honda generators. And Donovan brought up a really great point here. He says Honda doesn't actually make the actual gas motor that goes into those generators. They're made by a Chinese company called Jiling. It's Jialing. And he says, if you look around, do a little bit of research, you can find other generators that use the exact same motor, that exact same engine, and yet are much cheaper, but their quality is right up there with the Honda generator. So, folks, a lot of these things where you're going to pay for a name, do a little research. You might just find that really all you're doing is paying extra money for a name, and you're not getting any more quality out of it.
Yeah, don't you think though? At the at the end of the day, as far as Honda is concerned, their reputation speaks for itself.
It does,
and,
yes.
As far as those generators are concerned, if a consumer can't find it somewhere else, I'm just saying. Their record, like I said, speaks for itself as far as reliability, efficiency, across the board. It's a top choice.
Yeah, well, I will say my own personal opinion. I started with Toyota 30 years ago. I literally came out of trade school, out of tech school, North Tech, and I went to work for Earl 30 years ago. It's 30 years in a month now, and that was where I got my start turning wrenches professionally. If I had not gone with Toyota, Honda probably would have been my other choice because Honda just literally makes an incredible product. Folks, I know we talk about Toyota all day long on this show, but Honda, trust me, they are totally equal to Toyota in quality. They are a fantastic product. Their cars last just as long, and they have some little advantages that Toyota doesn't have. You know, a lot of the kids, what we call the tuners, they take little Honda 4-cylinder cars and they turn them into race cars that can whomp a Corvette.
Yeah.
I mean, these are some great vehicles. So if you're in the market, look for my preference Toyota, second preference Honda, and then the dark horse that very few people seem to ever talk about because they don't really have a big presence is Subaru. Mm-hmm. And Subaru cars are the ones that nobody really knows about them, but they just keep going forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, those are the three that usually pop up in my conversation when I'm off the show and I'm speaking to, the consumer or someone who has just purchased a Honda, and I tell them, day in and day out, great choice. Honda's an exceptional and Subaru competition for us.
Yep.
Great cars.
And right now, I'm that guy sitting back on the couch and munching on popcorn and sipping on a cold drink, watching the electric cars because it's a crazy situation. But I'm waiting to see how well electric cars, the Teslas, the Lucids, the Rivians, all these and all the other big manufacturers that are now making electric cars. I'm waiting to see how well these things are going to do in 8, 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is their longevity going to be?
Mm-hmm. That's a great thought. Earl, before we go to the mystery shopping report from Rick just mentioning electric, do you want to talk about the ups and downs with the Cybertruck the past couple of days?
Well, you're talking about the autonomous ups and downs. Yeah, as a lot of you know, regular listeners, Nancy and I each drive a Tesla. She drives a Tesla Plaid. I drive a Tesla Cybertruck, and they're both fully autonomous. Autonomous vehicles are the wave of the future. All cars will be autonomous one day, and Tesla is ahead of the game now on autonomous vehicles. Their cars and this is real life experience that Nancy and I have with them. They are miraculous, good, and easy, and we are now relying on them. When we go somewhere, and we don't do a whole lot of driving, but wherever we're going, the first thing we do is put it on autonomous and put the address in, because the car will get us there faster, and I'll use the word safer most of the time, because the downside, and I have to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. The ugly is we're seeing failures, some of them scary, with the autonomous, but 99% of the time, they are miraculous vehicles. If you want 100% guarantee on safety, they're not ready for prime time yet, and we are very much on guard and with our hands on the wheel and our eyes on the road when we use autonomous. But as I say, 99.9% of the time, they are without flaw or problem, and it's miraculous.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it took a while for me to warm up to autonomous, but I'll tell you what, folks, wouldn't know what to do without it. And for me, driving the Plaid, I think I'm more focused now because I have a problem with autonomous, so I want to stay focused. I want to be able to deactivate the autonomy if I have to, and I keep an eye on everyone around me on the road. It's really this is the way I drive. So, but I can't say enough about autonomous. I'm right on it, along with ChatGPT. Okay, anybody have anything to add to that quickly?
Just one thing. Tom Steckel on YouTube says Subaru spelled backwards is you are a bus.
Uh-huh. Okay, little humor out there. Our listeners, our callers, they're amazing. They truly are amazing. They share so much information with us. Okay, folks, we are going to rush into this mystery shopper report from Gilbert Ford, Okeechobee, Florida. Again, 772-497-6530. And that's where you can vote on the mystery shop. It's all yours, recovering car dealer.
Well, for those of you who don't know where Okeechobee is or what an Okeechobee is an Indian name. I believe it's Seminole. And there's a town called Okeechobee, and there's a huge lake, one of the largest freshwater lakes anywhere in South Florida, called Lake Okeechobee. So this is Gilbert Ford out in that region west of Palm Beach County. I'll be reading this in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, our undercover agent. Does all of our mystery shops now. I arrived mid-afternoon on Friday, was greeted by a sales associate named Angela. I let her know I was looking for a truck for my son, just doing a little pre-shopping before he gets in from working on the road next week. We're interested in a 2024 Ford F-250 4x4. For those regular listeners, Agent Lightning has a pretty big family, and she buys a lot of cars, and this is an actual purchase. So you're watching a real live purchase at the same time being a mystery shop. Angela asked me to follow her into her office so we could check their inventory online. Once inside, she asked for my driver's license. Noticing I'd come from a bit of a distance, she commented, heading to the new casino. Yeah, we have legalized gambling in Florida, and the Hard Rock Casino is owned by the Seminoles. It's the Indian casino, and I didn't even know this, but apparently they have a new smaller casino out in Okeechobee. Agent Lightning, I laughed and said, yes, we are. She chuckled. I go there way too much, the salesperson speaking. Is smaller than the other Hard Rock properties. We found the truck online. It was priced at $64,765. Angela grabbed the key so we could take a look in person. She mentioned that the window sticker might not reflect the online pricing, but assured me that she'd help get the best price available. And of course, apparently the MSRP Monroney label was affixed to the car, which in Florida is a rarity. So we got to give Gilbert Ford some points for having the Monroney label actually where it's supposed to be. We started the truck. The salesman, Angela, went over all of its features. She encouraged me to test drive it. We just drove it around the parking lot, and I let her know we'd be back once my son returned. Back at her desk, she asked, would you like me to point out the pricing breakdown so you can share it with your son? That'll be perfect, I replied. Angela was very friendly, said she'd have it ready in just a few minutes. I waited at her desk while she went to speak with one of her managers. As promised, she returned shortly with the paperwork, and as you all know, probably, this is the way cars are sold. It's almost like a game. The salesperson pretends to be on your side, and the sales manager is the enemy, and you and the salesperson gang up against the salesperson to drive the price down, which is almost comical if it weren't true, and that's the way cars are being sold. And as I say, as promised, she'll return shortly with the paperwork. They took $6,000 off the MSRP, which was $70,765. Then they added $799 for Line-X, which is a junk fee. Actually, it's a dealer-installed accessory. And I didn't ask about it. I checked on that. I think it's a Line-X. I Googled it and I forgot what it said.
It's a bed liner, a spray-in bed liner.
Bed liner, yeah. So it's dealer-installed accessory. So they bought the bed liner and they installed it for far less than the $799 they want to charge for that. And then they added pure junk fee, $899, and they call theirs a dock fee. and it's a junk fee. So we have a dealer-installed accessory in the bed liner for $7.99, and then we have the dealer fee, dock fee, junk fee. The selling price was, with everything, was $66,653, and the price was $1,888 more than the advertised figure once taxes and fees were included. And by the way, that's illegal because the law is that the advertised price, this is Florida law, the advertised price must be the price that you can buy the vehicle for and drive it home, adding only government fees, which are sales tax and license plate. But they don't adhere to the Florida law, nor does any car dealer I know of in Florida. They all just kind of ignore it, and the government doesn't seem to care. Attorney generals don't care. It's just let the dealers do what they want. She let me know, and this is back to Angela, the salesperson, she let me know they might even be able to do better once my son is here and ready to buy. I thanked her for her time, as if that bit of dangled bait was just fine, and she wished me good luck at the casino that evening. As I was walking out, a Jeep Wrangler sitting on the lot caught my eye. The window sticker had a QR code, so I scanned it and saw it was a 2015 model with only 63,000 miles, very low mileage for a 15 model, 2015.
10-year-old car, yeah.
Yeah. They were asking $19,489 on the sticker, but only $18,489 online. I walked back inside and asked Angela, would you mind grabbing the keys for that Jeep? Of course not, she said, returning a few minutes later with the keys. She told me that just been brought out to the lot that morning. The Carfax report showed it was a one-owner vehicle with no reported accidents. My husband was waiting in the car for me, so I made him come test drive it with me. We were both impressed with the interior. It had an upgraded Alpine stereo system with a subwoofer in the trunk floor and a backup camera installed. I'm pretty sure new carpeting had been installed. It was spotless and came with a brand new all-weather mats. We returned and told Angela, I want it. And remember, she's really buying the car for her daughter, or for her son, I mean. She excused herself to speak with her sales manager, came back with a pricing sheet. The top line was $22,267, about $4,000 over the price listed online. And once again, law violation. Advertised price has to be the price you pay, plus government fees only. They did not do that. But then they showed a $2,778 discount and then added an $899 dock fee, close to $200 in junk fees, snuck into the non-tax fees line, and there was no bed liner, no Linex. With the fee and the monkeying around with the selling price, my actual selling price before sales tax and tag fee was $20,576. I said, sign me up. Agent Lightning bought the car. The process moved quickly. She took my license, introduced me to her manager so I could provide my credit information. Unfortunately, my credit score had dropped a bit, but I was still leaving with the Jeep, knowing I'd refinance it soon. While we waited for the finance department, Angela took the Jeep to fill it with gas, asked the service department to look into the light system. When she returned, she explained the mechanic checked it out. Looks like the wires were cut. Should be an easy fix if you know someone good with wiring. I asked, would they consider taking anything off the price for that? Angela said it doesn't hurt to ask. She left and came back a few minutes later. Unfortunately, they're not willing to go any lower since it was just parked out front today. I shrugged. We waited a little bit longer, and then John from finance called me into his office. Do you want to add anything on, he asked. Just gap insurance, I said. And he said, perfect. He printed the contracts, buyer's order, and all the other DMV stuff. Then he had me sign the paperwork. So she signed. She bought the vehicle. And all in all, it was a seamless buying process, and everyone we encountered was super nice. Once home, I was able to figure out the sound system and discovered the lights actually did work through the Alpine touchscreen. So there is a real life, actual purchase that we put under the category of a mystery shopping report, and you get to vote.
Yes, 772-497-6530. I was a little distracted while you were reading the mystery shopping report. Do you know why?
No.
I was thinking of Lightseas.
Oh.
We used to go often.
Oh.
Yes, the restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Right there in the area. But on a serious note, is the dealer fee $8.99 or $9.99?
$8.99.
I have a conflict here in my no. Okay, I'll change that. Okay, folks. Again, 772-497-6530. That's where you can place your vote.
Okay, voters,
How does
get your votes in.
how does everybody want to vote?
Well, we're looking for him to come in. We've got, let's see here. T-Cash says D. X out that line X, and I'll give him a C. I'm guessing he wants a discount on that one. Folks, I will say line X bed liners is actually not a bad option on pickups that have a metal bed. Now, like my Tacoma, my pickup, has a plastic bed already. It's actually made of a very thick, heavy plastic. But when that plastic gets scratched up, or the metal actually, when it gets scratched up and starts to rust, that's a real issue. And those spray-in bed liners, they're actually worth it. That's one I will not dig in for.
But if you don't want a bed liner, that's the problem. The whole problem with dealer installed options, there's two problems. One, you didn't ask for it, and they put it on the car or the truck, and they say they won't take it off. So that's number one. Number two, and this is apply in this case, apparently for this particular product, Line-X, it's a good product, and apparently the price, from what Rick said, is not all that far off. But you don't put a accessory in a car and say you can't take it off, especially when the customer doesn't want it.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think if the dealership is going to say, we're putting this on every pickup truck, then they should do it, and it should be in the price, and there should be no extra charge. You shouldn't even charge for it.
Well,
take it off your profit if you're going to do that.
Well, they shouldn't do it anyway. I mean, you buy the car from the factory, then you resell it to the customer. If you want to buy the car with certain accessories, include those in there, and that gives the customer, prospective customer, the ability to shop and compare the price. When they surprise you with the dealer installed accessory, that takes away your right to do fair comparison.
Right. Okay. Negan1 says big F for games. Ooh, he's not happy today. Joseph Kelleher, D+. Doug Tesler says, Ella says, meow. F, not good. Tom Steckel says, C+, a bit better than most of the recent shopping reports. She should have had the Jeep pre-inspected before buying. Jeep reliability is not the best, yeah. Consumer Reports, they don't like Jeeps at all, but they do have a following. Okay, we'll jump over to the other channel here. We've got Tim Gilliland says, not terrible, but not great either, C. Brian Sedlatko, Ford truck, C. Johnny C. Fradley says, take the B line for a B, no lying. That's true. The B line gets you right out to the city of Okeechobee. Let's see, Donovan Lewis. I would give it a B+. This is a really good shop for South Florida. One minor correction, Donovan. It's Okeechobee. They're above the lake. Therefore, that's not South Florida. That's Central, buddy.
That's like country, yeah.
Yeah, you got to get out of South Florida if you're going to buy a car, really.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Mark H. says B. If everyone violates the law and it's never enforced, is it really a law?
Good point.
Kim appreciates life. Not a fan of Ford. F. Now we go over here to our text messages. Jonathan in Palm Coast says the Monroney label being properly placed is a good start. Bedliner fee, dock fee, breaking the law on price, etc. Not so good. Then the dealership does well with a used vehicle. The good and the bad equals the grade of C. And that's, okay, we got one other here. Paul says, I saw one story where a dealership is adding the tariff to new cars already in stock. A new addendum sticker, nothing more.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give them a C plus, and it's not a South Florida store, but I hate to give them a D. Or a C. I'm going to give them a C plus.
Okay. Again, I repeat, knowledge is power. And, it's a pretty personal decision that you would make whether you use a plastic drop-in bed liner, a spray-in bed liner. But there's ways of getting around all of these fees that are on this mystery shopping report, and doing your homework before you, and it's at your fingertips. You can go right to the internet. You can go to ChatGPT. You can go to Google. My grade for Gilbert Ford, D minus. Okay, we have, by the clock, we have time for Rick to vote.
Also, Mark Smith says a C. For me, I don't know. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say a B plus.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I honestly think that the dealership showed some honesty. Yeah, they played a few games there, but I don't see anything dishonest there. And I didn't see any of those games that they like to play, making you wait while they bounce back and forth to the manager and the final.
Crazy.
They just kind of gave a price and said, this is what it is.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Rick. I want to mention a young lady by the name of Christina real quick, and she once was a volunteer for Big Dog Ranch, and Earl and I met her recently in the last couple of months, and she's listening to the show. And all the folks at Chowderheads that are watching, listening to the show, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Rick?
And real quick, Bob from Maryland says, Agent Lightning did not have an independent mechanic look at the car, the Jeep. A grade of B for Gilbert Ford, and maybe a D for Agent Lightning. Ooh, he's getting mean. And Frank in Jupiter Farm says, it says, finally, a good shopping report, actually a buying report. Therefore, it's a B plus.
Okay. Hey, folks, thanks for joining us this morning. We definitely enjoy your company. You make the show. Stay tuned right here next week on the Oldies Channel. We'll be right here at 8 a.m. Have a blessed weekend.